You are tuned into a special player spotlight interview on the CS Podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the CS Podcast presented by the NUC NFL Draft Bible, bringing you the names that you need to know first. Since 2002, visit NFLDraftBible.com. I'm your guys' host, Chris Shanafel, and joining the show now for a player spotlight interview is 2016 NFL Draft prospect James Williamson, defensive back out of Division III's Wesley College. James, I appreciate you taking some time tonight. Now, I know that your journey has been a quite unique one, to say the least, and we'll talk about it, but can you believe that it's all over? I mean, your college playing days, that is?
Well, I appreciate for having me tonight, but it's rough. Just it hasn't hit, but it somewhat has hit, and it's like a sad but a sweet type feeling that I finally get to chase my dreams now. But it's crazy. In 4 years went by fast. I can remember my first day at camp. It went by real fast.
Yeah, and and looking a little bit at your collegiate career, James, I mean, coming out of high school, you decided to attend West Virginia Wesleyan, where just like most freshmen, I mean, you didn't see much playing time, but as a sophomore, you were able to start 6 of the 11 total games that season. You recorded 53 tackles, an interception, and a sack. It seemed like things were looking pretty bright for you there after that sophomore season of yours. Can you tell us why you decided to transfer to California University of Pennsylvania after that sophomore season at West Virginia Wesleyan?
Well, it was, that sophomore season was actually my redshirt freshman year, because I went in there as a receiver.
Okay.
And I went in there as a receiver, but I was back up to All-American John Meadows, and I ended up switching my redshirt freshman year to DB. But the reason why I transferred from West Virginia Wesleyan was more so like coaches change, and I don't know. It was just I wanted to win more. I want to go to a winning program. When I first got there, it was 9-2, and then my freshman year it was 9-2, and then it was like we was going down. But after first game of that game, after my first game of my freshman year, my redshirt freshman year, it was good from there on. But I just wanted to win. I was trying to get the dream of being in the ring.
Okay, and yeah, obviously going to probably one of the top Division II football programs in Cal-U, PA. Obviously, they have a lot of guys that have played at the next level that are currently at the next level. Making that transfer certainly looked like it was going to be a pretty solid one. Now, before we move on and talk about your time there, I got to ask you, I mean, how did you feel about going from wide receiver to DB? I mean, obviously, you were probably excited to get back to get on the field, but usually they say defensive backs are defensive backs because they don't have good enough hands to play wide receiver. Was that the case for you?
Well, somewhat the case, but more so when I play receiver, I was more so of a slot and for the jet sweeps, because I played running back in high school, and so I was mainly used for like short threat or like the deep ball just for a fade, and it wasn't hard just transferring to a DB because just like a natural athlete was able to adjust to it. And it was just and I like hitting. I'm a physical guy, so it was just like a great fit for me. After my first spring ball, like playing safety, it just became something, and I never looked back. I mean, I've been an offensive guy like my whole life. I mean, I played DB, of course, but I've been an offensive guy my whole life. Everybody loves scoring touchdowns. But when you just get that thrill of actually hitting people, being physical, you end up loving it.
Oh yeah, man! I bet. I mean, to be a safety, you have to be a very physical player. So obviously, the coaching staff seen something in you when you were a wide receiver that they obviously thought that you could succeed playing defensive back, playing safety. Again, from West Virginia Wesleyan to California University of Pennsylvania. Unfortunately, James, a lot of people may be familiar with a situation that went down during your time at Cal-U, PA, and you were accused of being in involved in this situation. And again, I want to stress on the word accused because eventually the charges were that were brought against you, they were dropped in court. So I kind of just want to give you some time to kind of clear your name because, the first thing you see when you search, James Williamson on Google are stories on this, and I got to think that's pretty tough.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was a rough situation going through it as a player and as a person, but it was something that definitely, helped me become a better man. I mean, it was more so being the wrong place, wrong time, or it was just a whole lot of mistakes going on in it, but it was a learning process, honestly. I mean, I had everything at California University, PA, but it was just unfortunate for that to happen to me. And just to sit back and think about it, I mean, it's still to this day when it happens, I still think about it like, wow, that actually happened to me. But, I mean, it feels good to definitely know that my name is cleared. And it feels good to know that there was still people believing in me, regardless when my name wasn't cleared. There was actually people by my side. There was people supporting me. Those people were there with me 100%, especially my family, my friends. And there was even some coaches that was just believing in me the whole time and was just with me the whole time. Even though it was like the media was portraying me as a different person. Everybody knew who I was, but didn't know my character, didn't know I'm a good person. Didn't know my intentions were good and everything. They just know me. They didn't know the real me. But it felt great to have those charges drop and just be able to move on with my life. I mean, it's something that I won't ever forget. But it was definitely a good learning process, though.
And I got to ask, going through all this, did you ever think that your collegiate football career or just being a college student, did you ever think that this could possibly be over?
Well, at a moment it was looking like it was going to be over. It was at a time, probably about a few days, when I thought, I was like, man, this is it. It's just done. But then I just told myself, there's always a possibility. I just kept faith in God, and I just tried, didn't give up. Because, I mean, always when one door closes, another door is going to open up. So I just kept trying. Didn't give up. I mean, it was to a point I just, I wasn't taking no for an answer. I was getting in school. Because, I mean, I lost my scholarship, lost my apartment, lost the chance of being a student. I lost a semester of school. I was close to graduating. But it was just something that more so I did personally for me. It wasn't for nobody, personally for me. For me being so close to getting my degree, I had to finish. It's when you get that close, you can't give up, regardless of the circumstances. So I just had to keep pushing to keep faith.
And that's exactly what you did. Now, once all this went down, you decided to transfer once again, and this time is to Wesley College. Talk about how tough it was to land at another school, because I know that you and I had a conversation before this interview, and you told me you sent a number of different emails to coaches all around the country. I mean, how tough was it for you to find another opportunity to not only go to school but play football?
Well, it was very tough. I can still go on my email right now and look at my sent mail. I remember sending emails out to probably 30 different schools, or at least 2 coaches, the head coach, position coach, recruiting coach, just sending them around the same film. And I got a lot of good responses back. For ones they watched the film and everything, but ones who went more in depth. And then I was fresh off the case or everything that was going on. My name was fresh in the media, and that's what stayed with most schools. I mean, they like me with the talent-wise, but still with most schools, And I'm giving them my word, but as anybody, even though you give me your word, nobody really will want to take that risk without not knowing. So it was just hard at a point. It was some people they wanted to, but it was just. They couldn't do it. I mean, I understand it's a business thing with my name being out like that. But I mean, I was just blessed to have an opportunity to be able to go to Wesley. And yeah. I remember just deciding, because I try a lot of D2 schools and everything to stay at a D2 level and still be able to get the scholarships and everything. But when I decided to go Division III. I mean, I talked to before I talked to Wesley, I talked to 2 other Division III schools, but like Wesley was just the perfect fit for me. One of my close friends, Coach Roddy White, he helped me out with getting a contact and everything. And then once I talked to Western coaches, I talked to Coach Draz, everything just happened so fast, and I was just blessed for that opportunity.
Absolutely, and I don't know if you've been able to kind of put everything that you've been through during your time at Cal U of PA behind you. I mean, like you said, it's going to stick with you forever. You're always going to remember it, and obviously it'd be hard to forget that. But, I mean, just talk about how refreshing it was to, when you're at Wesley College, how refreshing it was to strap up and return to the football field after going through all you did off the field.
Well, it was more so I was able to put it behind. I always kept it like on my mind as I could lose this again. So even with school, football, everything I do, I just make sure I do it at my best because I've lost it and I know how I feel to lose it. So being able to get back on the football field and actually put a helmet on and everything, just get back out there, it just felt great. It felt great. I mean, it's been a while. I don't remember, it's just been a while. And it's just a great feeling when you get back to doing what you love. And it's just something that's just taken away from you without your control. That's pretty hard to be able to deal with. And then to finally get it back, it was an amazing feeling.
And this past season, James, you were, I believe, 4th on the team in tackles with 65. You also had 2 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and an interception on a Wesley Wolverines football team that was very dominant this season. You guys had a really good record, a really good season as a whole. You guys finished the regular season with an 11-1 record before giving Mount Union, who just this past weekend won the D3 National Championship, before giving Mount Union a run for their money in the Division III quarterfinal round of the playoffs. You guys battled very tough in that game until they were able to kind of pull through there late in the second half. How would you describe this past season, your last as a collegiate athlete? I mean, a pretty solid season on a contending team. I got to think that at the end of the day, I mean, you can't ask for much more than that. Again, especially with everything that you've been through. I mean, like you said, you kind of know what it feels to be on the football field, and you know what it's like to have it all taken away from you.
Well, stat-wise, when you hear the numbers, they sound good, but it should have been better. Especially, it was some games that I feel as though my stats were shaved a little bit, but I'm not gonna go there. And but it was good though, playing for a team like Wesley, and just like every week, it's just everybody just serious and everybody just like determined to win. Like down to the coaches, players, everybody, scouts, and everybody just serious to win. And so it was a good feeling. Well, I mean, it was the same way as Cal. So it was like leaving from one winning team, going to another winning team. It was good, but it was a different vibe though. It wasn't like just, it's a regular D3 team that, it's just guys out here just to play, just playing mountain scholarship. Like everybody took it serious, like week by week took it serious. And then playing in the NJAC was just basically like every week was a rivalry week, or it was very competitive. I mean, yeah, when you look at some of the scores, you blew teams out sometimes, but it was still competitive though. Like every day there was a goal that we had, and every week there was a target on us. So we had to make sure that we came on our A game every time. But like, I mean, it was a good season. Not great. I mean, of course, it being the national champions would have made it better. But I mean, being part of Wesley and everything I've been through, I can definitely say it was a great way to end my college career. I mean, most people would have given up. Most people would have just let it go. Most people want to try hard, but man, with playing on a team like that, and I was accepted into the Wesley football family just like tremendously. It was crazy. You would have thought I went there forever for all 4 years. So like definitely playing with a bunch of guys. I mean, I wouldn't take it back for anything. I don't care. Like if I go back, like knowing that I would play with these type of guys, if a team would have came back and said, "Oh yeah, we'll offer you this and that," I wouldn't leave. I mean, I had that opportunity too as well when my charges got dropped, but I was just like, nah, man, this team accepted me as a family and gave me that opportunity, chance. So I had to keep my loyalty there. But it was definitely a great season, though. I mean, even though we didn't get a national championship, but overall and personally, I think it was a great season, a great way to end my college career.
And it certainly says a lot about the tradition and, like you said, how they were able to just accept you right off the bat. It certainly says a lot about the program as a whole at Wesley College. Talk about playing at the Division III level. I mean, was there much of a drop-off from playing at the D2 level to the D3 level? I mean, it sounds like there's a lot of competitive games and, a lot of talent that maybe you didn't expect coming from the Division II level at first. Is that safe to say?
Well, I could say yes, didn't expect, but truly the difference from like each levels is like the line. Probably the offensive line, defensive line, and probably there's more depth. I mean, because I play against a D1 AA school, and Wesley has played against a D1 AA school as well. I mean, one year they lost by 3, I believe, and in the previous year they beat the team. I mean, I play against a Division I AA school. Is like the only thing, the athletes are the same. Because you got guys that probably have stories like mine, or guys that have grades. So you got athletes. The only thing be different is probably like the line, the size of the line, and then you have more so of the backups like at different levels. Like Cal, like it was the next guy up, basically. Like you had somebody to basically replace you. You had people. At D1, you're gonna have like your third string could possibly the starter. And sometimes at a D3 level, you possibly won't have that. So it's just the depth, the size of the lineman. But other than that, it's not too much. I mean, a lot of people say that because football is competitive, period, at any level you play. Mm-hmm. So you gotta be. I definitely gained a lot of respect for D3 athletes and everything.
Again, he's James Williamson, the defensive back, the safety out of Wesley College, joining me here on the CS podcast presented by the NUC NFL Draft Bible, bringing you the names that you need to know first since 2002. Visit NFLDraftBible.com. And, James, whether it's, from the D2 level or just this past season at the D3 level, who would you say is the best player that you've had to go up against over the last 4 years?
Well, I don't really know. I mean, there's a couple guys that would say, well, team-wise, but a running back that I have a lot of respect for, and a close friend of mine is Ramon Lee from Glenville State. He was a pretty good running back and everything. Like we definitely had to make sure our game plan was like good. Like, yeah, we for him. He was a very impactful player. And another person would be, I'd say, Jordan Roberts from University of Charleston. This was my redshirt freshman year, and he was a senior. He was like offensive player of the year and everything. And we really, we held him to like 56 yards, I believe, something like that. But it wasn't as easy as it sounds.
Yeah, I know he had a shot with the Kansas City Chiefs early on a couple of years back. So, yeah, I mean, that alone says a lot about some of the talent that you've gone up against. Now, James, I believe you were invited to the National Bowl, but the same weekend that game was played was the same weekend as your guys' playoff game against Mount Union, so you were unable to make the trip down to Florida to participate in it. Any other all-star opportunities ahead of you?
Well, this past week, December 18th, I got invited to something called the Euro Challenge, I believe. I wasn't aware of it, but I saw it in my email, and I got invited to the Dream Bowl probably around the same time I got invited to the National Bowl. But by us being in the playoffs and just be focusing on the playoffs and not worried about all-star games yet, I lost that opportunity due to the roster being full. But I got invited to it around September, early October time. I mean, I wish I was playing in it, and I wish I was able to play in the National Bowl, but I would play in a playoff game anytime, just to chase that dream. But, I mean, definitely a lot of good guys that I know play in the National Bowl, SGS Bowl, and that's a good thing they got going on. And there's a lot of guys I know playing the Dream Bowl as well. But As of right now, I probably won't participate in one due to like roster being filled up or also having playoffs.
Okay. Now, I do see that the last collegiate game that you played in, again, was against Mount Union in that playoff game. It was about 3 weeks ago, give or take. What have you been doing since that last game? I got to think you've probably been giving your body some rest since then. And what do you plan on doing from here on out until the NFL draft comes around?
Yeah, I've been resting since then, focusing on school. I had to finish up strong with finals and everything. But other than that, I just been resting. Today, I actually started getting back in weight room training, and what I plan on doing until like the NFL Combine, NFL Regional Combine, is basically working out with my trainer here while I'm home, George Jones, working out at TZ Sports. But I plan on training with him, doing some more working on speed and just having that and getting ready for that 40 and getting ready for the testing and everything. And I'm looking for somebody to be able to train with while I'm in Delaware because I'm still going to be taking classes this spring. But man, I just been resting and just got back into it today.
Okay. Hey, I don't blame you, man. I don't blame you at all. Now, any idea when and where your pro day may be at?
I'm not too sure, but from what I know from previous years, I believe so. I believe that Wesley does it with Delaware State, but I'm not too sure yet. But okay. I know with the rules, I could do it back at previous schools or wherever state I'm from and wherever state I went to school at. I know about the rules, but I'm not too sure yet. I have not looked into it as well. But man, I'm definitely going to get on it, but most likely it's probably Delaware State, and I'm not sure when.
All right. And what are your goals for your pro day? I mean, like you said, I know you said you're going to be training quite a bit, and obviously for defensive backs like yourself, one of the main numbers that really sticks out is that 40 time. Do you have any specific numbers in mind that you'd like to hit?
I definitely want to talk a low 4.4, possibly around. Yeah, just a low 4.4. I mean, I've been talking to 4.4s before when I was at a lighter weight, and I ran a 4.41 and 4.44. I'm just trying to run times like that.
Okay, sounds good.
Lord knows, hopefully, if I have a 4.3, I'll be blessed if I can get that. But yeah, I'm aiming for the low 4.4s, though.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe you'll surprise yourself and get a 4.35 or something like that. I mean, wouldn't that open some eyes? I mean, even a 4.4, I mean, it is insanely fast. So again, he is James Williamson, the defensive back out of Wesley College, 2016 NFL Draft prospect. Joining me here on the CS podcast, brought to you by the NUC NFL Draft Bible. And James, just a few more questions for you. Now, I see that the Wesley College Athletics website has you listed at 6 foot, 195 pounds. I mean, is that accurate?
Yeah, height is accurate. The weight is a little off, but man, I'm 190, and
okay.
I'm 190 solid. But I mean, I'm working. I played at 194, 195 before. I mean, I can play it in that range, but I say it's close to accurate though.
All right, sounds good. So 6 foot, 190, give or take. What would you say is your biggest strength as a defensive back, and what is something that you think you could work on?
Well, as a defensive back, my biggest strength is my physicality and not being afraid of like being in the box. And because as a safety, I was using Wesley College. It's more so had to be in the box and had a blitz and everything, and that was one of my strengths and tackling. So being physical and tackling, that's pretty much good for a DB. Mm-hmm. And what I feel is I need to work on is just, I mean, you can always get stronger, you can always get faster and get smarter in the game. That's what I feel is I need to work on, of course, hands and becoming stronger. I want to be very, I don't know, I won't say very strong, but I do want to be stronger.
All right. Well, you mentioned your physicality, and I'll tell you what, man. There's nothing better than a physical defensive back that's not afraid to lay the wood. Obviously, you got to be very physical to play the game of football, but when you're playing, safety, I feel that that's probably the position where you have to be the most physical at, either safety or linebacker. But again, yeah, I mean, I was able to watch some of your highlights, and obviously that really stands out. I mean, your ability to tackle, you're not going to miss a lot of tackles. You're going to be around the ball, and if the ball carrier is coming your way, they better watch out because, like you said, I mean, they got a very physical defensive back coming their way. Just a couple more questions for you, James. For those who may not be too familiar with your game, again, coming from the Division II level, coming from the Division III level, if I were to ask you to compare yourself to somebody currently playing in the NFL, who do you think that would be and why?
Well, I'm also don't compare myself, but I mean, I had some of my friends and some people that I played with before telling me Tyrann Mathieu more so like because he blitz and everything, and it's more so in the box and playing the nickel position. I heard Brian Dawkins before. I've also heard Deion Buchanan on like how he can play in the box and he can also cover, but he was a former safety that got most used. He's being used somewhere as a linebacker and in the Cardinals defense, but those are guys that came across before that my friends have said, and I mean I see it more so, and I watch like Honey Badger and everything, Tyrann Mathieu. I watch him, and I've been watching him since LSU, so I definitely like when it said that. I mean, I was definitely like honored that it said that though.
Probably one of the most fun players to watch in all of the National Football League. And like you said, even back to his days at LSU, being a finalist for the Heisman Trophy, I mean, that says it all at the coming from the defensive back position. Certainly one of my favorite players to watch, and certainly not a bad person to compare yourself to or have others compare yourself to, whether it is Tyrann Mathieu, Deion Buchanan, or Brian Dawkins. I mean, Buchanan, a former first-round draft pick. Tyrann Mathieu, we've already seen what he's been able to do so far in his 3 years in the league, and we obviously already know about Brian Dawkins, who I believe should one day be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And final question for you, James. If an NFL general manager were listening to this very interview, why should they want the defensive back out of Wesley College, James Williamson, a part of their team?
Well, if a GM was listening right now, I'd tell him that I'm a very hard-working player, and I'm willing to get better every day and just give my best. I mean, I know that sounds cliche, but that's just something that I live by, like daily. Everything that I do, anything I do, I want to progress and become better. So, I mean, if I get that chance and I know I have the opportunity, every day I'm going to work harder and try to progress and become a better athlete and become a better man. And so I just feel as though, like, should definitely give me the opportunity, definitely give me the chance because I won't let them down.
Hey, sounds great. And obviously you know how to bounce back from adversity. And James, I just want to thank you for, kind of sharing your story here on the show. It's been a pleasure chatting with you, and I'm certainly wishing you all the best as you look forward to playing at the next level.
All right, definitely. Thank you and everything. And I appreciate it for this opportunity, especially giving me the chance to let my story be told.